Yo,
That's a
I'm
the
starting
feather.
over. I'm starting over.
Oh,
Yo. Welcome back to the Mark Our Words podcast, the official podcast of YouTube. What's good with you, Chen?
man, life is good, man. I can't really complain.
I ain't gonna hold you. I think I'm after this episode. I'm really gonna call you Mo, like even on the mic.
Shout out to Moses,
Yeah, because I'm a big
Christian,
I'm not a lie. I'm not a big
Black Israelite.
I'm not a big fan of AMP, but I am a fan of them, and I'm a fan of Phantom. That's not his real name.
That's not his real name.
No, Phantom. No, it's a.
It sounds like a real name.
I know. Like, I'm a fan of Agent 00. Like, that's not his real name. You know what I mean? His name is Dean. Dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, his name not even Agent. It's not even a play on his real name. So I'm like, if I'm on YouTube,
Why am I real?
I'm going to create a personality. You know what I mean?
Create a player.
Exactly. Create a player, YouTube. You know what I mean? So I think starting this episode.
Oh yeah, Ish and Ice. That's their real name.
Is it their name?
I know Ice is not his real name.
Then Ish gotta be a short for something. It can't.
Ishmael or something.
So that's why I'm like, yo, Math Hoffa, that's not his name. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, yo,
Nori,
we doing it wrong.
Charlemagne,
We doing it wrong.
DJ Academics,
Create a play on YouTube.
Jordan Peterson.
That's his full
That
name.
would be wild.
You be like, my name Robert. What? Nah, man. But yeah, I think starting this episode and on, I'm gonna call you by Moses and stuff like that. I don't have a nickname.
Buffalo.
You
Still like Buffalo?
I bang with Buffalo. So shout out to Buffalo and Moses and
Big
stuff.
Buff.
Please. This is my current weight on keto, by the way. I said I'm gonna update, even though we record this in bulk. Only 4 episodes in bulk. Don't worry about it. Y'all get a fresh episode in 2 weeks from now. Not even 2 weeks. Maybe 2 weeks from now. This is my fresh weight. This is how much I weigh, even though I look the same on screen. How's life, man? Like, life is beautiful.
Yeah, life is beautiful.
Okay, man. Life is a girl for you, man. Life is just beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's all the good things.
Yeah, man.
Positivity. I'm with it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys could tell, but we got better camera quality. I don't know. Maybe they can tell. Maybe they can't. We'll see.
Better camera quality. No camera, but still getting it work.
Still getting the work.
That's
work done.
That's
getting the work done.
God did. Like,
God did.
Like that's part of getting things done. Okay. You love doing that. You love making a mockery of.
Hey, yeah, it's not a mockery. It's not a mockery.
It's not a mockery.
It's not a mockery.
Oh, is that how?
Mockery.
Is that how you really pray?
It's not a mockery.
But yeah. I straight cut you off from your day. Other than that, you had a good week. Did anything special happen or anything you good?
Nah, yeah, nothing really wild happened. I don't know if this is gonna mean anything to anybody who watches us, but I got my Vim set up, my Vim and Tmux, for Java. Ain't that wild? Ain't that crazy? Vim and Tmux for Java. I got that set up and it's working, so I'm happy about that.
That's lit. I know we probably like months removed, probably a month removed. But I came across, I told you this personally on the phone. It's only fair I tell everybody this. I don't know if everybody's doing it. The FDA treated it as if everybody was doing it, but I think it was just a precautionary thing. If you are one of the ones who is putting NyQuil on chicken and cooking it, granted, I'm a month, maybe even 2 months late with this, but I'll tell you this right now. You deserve what comes to you.
It's like lemon chicken.
you deserve what comes to you.
Pineapples on pizza.
They had to put, no, it's not. They had to tie up the Tide Pods. And now they may have to tie up the NyQuil. When you want to make that late store run because your throat is scratchy and you just want to get to sleep, you have to go into your store, find a manager, find someone with a key. Because just because someone working there, that doesn't mean they got the key to unlock the shelf. So you got to find someone who has enough pull to have a key to unlock the NyQuil. Because someone is putting NyQuil on the chicken.
You could kill two birds with one stone, though. If you got a scratchy throat and you hungry.
Like I said, if you choose to eat,
NyQuil chicken.
If you choose to eat that, I can't feel sorry for you. Because I ain't feel sorry for the Tide Pod people.
Well, can you remind me of the Tide Pod?
Remember, like, Tide Pods was new, but people was eating them. Like, people was eating them.
Like the detergent joint?
Yeah, people was eating them. Like, people was eating it. So they tied them up.
Hey, man.
I don't know what's going on.
You gotta let people do what they want to do.
No, I definitely do. I call it natural selection. That's exactly what I call it.
If they want to do that, man.
Natural selection. You wasn't going to contribute to society anyway. So go. You taking up space. Bill Burr said that in every stand-up. He said there's too much people on the earth. You taking up space. And I think I'm starting to see your point, Mr. Burr. Is that like, yo, we got people out here eating Tide Pods. We got people out here eating NyQuil chicken. You think you want to like recreate with those people? No, bruh.
What my man said? My man said, some of y'all kids, some of y'all children, some of your children need to go to sleep for good.
But I want to be clear. I know some of us love our children, but some of our children are so far gone that we're going to have to put some of them to sleep in order to take back the neighborhood. Some of y'all don't want to hear that because you don't live in reality. But I'm telling you, as a psychologist, I'm not going to be able to psychologize all of them on the corner. Some of them going to sleep for good!
Shout out to Dr. Umar. Hopefully you get the age back, boy.
Oh man.
But
favorite clip.
But I came across something. Good thing you brought up Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
I brought up a clip. I saw a clip where he was on, I think, Pier Morgan, and he started crying because, I'm paraphrasing, Pier Morgan basically asked him, like, is he like the quote unquote hero or like the savior, for better terms, for incels? I never even heard that word before.
I'll ask you just quickly, the film director Olivia Wilde has a new movie out, which she says is based on you, this insane man, this pseudo-intellectual hero to the incel community. Incel being these weirdo loner men who are despicable in many ways. Is that you? Are you the intellectual hero to these people?
Sure. Why not? People have been after me for a long time because I've been speaking to disaffected young men. What a terrible thing to do that is. I thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
It's making you emotional. Talk about that.
Well, God, it's very difficult to understand how demoralized people are. And certainly many young men are in that category. And you get these casual insults, these incels. What does it mean? It's like, well, these men, they don't know how to make themselves attractive to women who are very picky, and good for them. Women, like, be picky. That's your gift, man. Demand high standards from your men. Fair enough. But all these men who are alienated, it's like they're lonesome and they don't know what to do, and everyone piles abuse on them.
So that made me look it up. I kind of can tell by the context clues what an incel was based on what Jordan Peterson said in his response. And he was basically like, these people don't have nobody. Nobody wants them. No one likes them. And if I have to be the voice for them to be seen, to basically be the voice of the voice of the voiceless, I guess, then why not me? And he got very emotional. Maybe I post a clip or like whatever of that. But shout out to the Roman or Catholic Church. But it made me look like, what is an incel? Have you ever heard that term before? Mm-hmm. When? Like which year?
2016. Maybe.
Wow. So you actually knew of this term for a while.
In 2016, I think it became really like a thing in like 2018, and then became even more of a thing after the Joker movie.
Now, is this incels? Are they a community like Red Pill? And basically, when I say like Red Pill, I mean like, are they like is there like a group of them to where they actually identify as incel?
I think so.
Okay. And
I think you could find people who say I'm an incel, and then there's people that probably don't identify, but they have incel tendencies. So
I want to talk about two different. I want to talk about those two right there, just so we can get a better view. Those that identify as an incel and wear it. Like I am an incel, right? Why would that be? And I'm treading lightly because I really don't know.
I don't know too much about it either,
so
I might not have an answer.
Red Pill, there's a certain pride to Red Pill that I don't understand myself, right? Red Pill is something that I feel like you can take on that task. Like I'm part of the Red Pill community. I'm Red Pill. Mm-hmm. Being part of the incel community, is that more of like taking the power back? Because I would think that's an insult.
Yeah, but they hate themselves.
Oh, like they hate.
You didn't know that part.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they hate themselves.
Really?
Yeah, it's the Joker movie. A Joker would be an incel hero. You seen the Joker movie?
Yeah. You talk about the new one with? Yeah, I saw it.
People would categorize him as an incel hero.
Even though in the movie he was with the girl?
He didn't. He wasn't with the girl.
Oh, it was in his head.
He never was with the girl. Even in his make-believe land. He never slept with a girl. Did he? I don't remember ever sleeping. I knew they had interactions.
I think it was in his head.
But even in his head, like, yeah, they went to a date, they did this, but they never did anything.
Wow. I thought the Joker was just like a... So what's the difference between...
And I think she had a man, or she was going out on a date with somebody else.
So what's the difference between a nerd and an incel?
I think a nerd is like Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a nerd. We consider him an incel.
Come on.
Now there's an overlap, I think.
No. I'll let you finish, but I gotta criticize your Bill Gates example. Mm-hmm. And maybe the money is shading my thoughts of him. Mm-hmm. When I think of nerd, I think of someone who is smart, someone who cares about the studies of the studies more than recess. Dude, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Incel doesn't match that the way that it's being described and the way I looked it up. Someone who just cares about the studies or smart. Because not all incels are geniuses and not all nerds hate themselves or quote unquote allegedly hate themselves. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, even with that definition you gave me of what's a nerd and who is a nerd, I'm kind of like, is Bill Gates?
What definition? I give you a definition.
Well, not definition, but when I say who is a nerd, like Bill Gates,
yeah.
I'm like, is he a nerd?
He cares about computers more than anything. I don't know. Like, this man was programming in high school, went to school for programming, and then built a company built based off of programs and computers. Like that's all he did. That's basically his life. His life is based off of nerdy stuff. He was the first nerd billionaire. Who was the first? Who was the billionaire before? Bill Gates. Remember when we was kids?
Yeah.
There was no Mark Zuckerberg. There was no Jeff Bezos. There was no Elon Musk. Yeah, there was Steve Jobs, but Steve Jobs was coming back up. Like he wasn't even like popping like that.
Yeah.
When we was kids, everybody said, "I want Bill Gates money." Like Bill Gates meant billionaire.
Yeah.
But he was still like nerdy. Like nobody was like, "Oh, Bill Gates. Oh, he a cool guy. Like I want to be like Bill Gates." Like if he didn't have money, nobody would want to be like Bill Gates. Versus like, I don't know, Steve Jobs maybe. Like there's people out there that even Steve Jobs might be a nerd, but with if he was a regular person.
Yeah.
But there's nerds out here who are not just like, I hate myself. I want to be I hate women. I'm racist. Nothing works in today. I hate all the people who get women. Like that doesn't like usually if you're a nerd, you too worry about your studies to even worry about any of those other things.
So, am I only looking at one side? Go ahead.
I would say an incel is what we used to call losers back in the day.
Define loser.
So those people that never go out, always in the house.
In their mama's basement type of.
Sometimes they're in their mama's basement. Sometimes they just in a 1-bedroom apartment, watching TV all the time or playing video games. Don't really got that many friends. Or if they do have friends, they're the person who's like not really part of the group. That's what I would say has now became the incel. I think the difference between back in the day and now is that back in the day, maybe, and this might be a what the internet has become.
The internet, okay.
But it doesn't seem like it was that many losers, right? It seemed like that was like a niche part of society. Whereas now, whereas now, it seems like there's a lot more of those people. And because there's a lot more of those people, they have created a community called the incels. But I don't know, like we was having a discussion. I don't know if it's because maybe there was that many people back in the day. It's just that they didn't have the internet to create a community because there was only 1 or 2 in their town. And that's not, they're not really out here. Whereas now, you could go on forum and find other people that look like you or talk like you or act like you in a whole different country.
But this is where my surface level knowledge comes from. I thought you was an incel just off of if you don't have a lady or like a partner, depending on what side you go by. You get what I'm saying? Meaning like when you hit me with the like you hate yourself, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I wasn't hip to like definition 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
What does incel mean? Do you know what the actual term means?
I don't even know what the whole term means.
Involuntarily celibate.
Really? So basically,
like celibate not by choice.
So, but my thing is, how do you hate yourself?
You can't get the definition of being a man in most societies is how many women. Well, one of the definitions. Please don't. This is not my society.
Yeah. Okay. My man said this is not Sims. Okay.
One of the definitions about being a man is how many women can you have?
Yes.
Or how many women can you get?
Yes.
If you can't get any, what does that say about you as a man?
But back in the day, we used to call them nerds. But
nerds began women. They just don't get the.
But stop.
Nerds be having nerd girls.
Stop. Nerds just became in. Like wait. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute to prove myself right or prove myself wrong.
Okay.
Right? It didn't become cool to be a nerd, at least from my perspective, until the last 15, maybe even 20 years.
Cool.
You get what I'm saying? When I was in the lunchroom in school, those guys or those girls or whatever, mostly guys, playing Pokemon cards, playing with action figures maybe, playing with their own little game. They had their own clique, right? When it came down to prom, they ain't go with no girl. They didn't do. You get what I'm saying? Like they went with their guys.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't until recently, in the past 15, maybe 20 years. Well, not 20, maybe 15, to where it's like, oh, it's cool to be a nerd.
Yeah.
It's cool to be in tech. It's cool to be nerds are in.
That's fair.
So I'm saying, if the girls didn't want the nerds back in the day, what make these guys graduate from nerds to incel? Like that's where my confusion come in at.
But you guys, you keep saying nerds, but nerds is not just men.
Okay, there's female nerds.
And guess who the male nerds date?
The female nerds. so now you say it today. So basically, you say it today. The nerds is not only just getting the nerd girls; they are now particularly getting.
And you said nerds are in.
Nerds is very in.
So if you a nerd and you a woman, and you know nerds are in, you might get and the thing is, it's very murky now. Now you don't even know who's a nerd or who's not.
That's what I'm saying.
So now it's like, oh, she's a nerd, but the cool guys who are also nerds, like her. So now what happens when you a real nerd? or you're a real loser? Like you're really a nerd. And I'm not trying to, downplay. Cause I think there's a very dangerous part about being incel, but there is also a very sad part about being incel.
Yeah, that's why Jordan Peterson was crying.
Yeah. So, but if you a real nerd or a real loser, and you can't even get a girl who's also a real nerd and real loser, then what's like
it's different though. It's different for girls because, for example,
what do you mean it's different for girls?
It's different for girls because girls are judged by how they look.
But I'm saying if you are a real nerd and a real loser and you can't get a other real nerd loser girl,
basically
you can't get any girl. And the thing is, I think for outside, so two people don't quite understand this. Guys who are super attractive, who could get or in like who have a whole bunch of money.
Thank you.
Those two guys, they could get any girl they want. Like I think a lot of times people look at those people and be like,
and that's the norm, and people think that's the norm,
or they be like, yo, guys are dolls. Guys always cheat. Guys most guys can't cheat.
It's not in my budget to cheat.
It's not in their budget to cheat, and most girls are not looking their way. If they cheat, they have to really try hard to cheat. Like they really have to.
So basically, you saying the options is not even there to cheat.
Yeah, for a lot of guys. But I think we look at the 10% or the 5% or the 1% of guys,
and we
say all guys are like this. All guys are dogs, and which might be true if they all had the same opportunity. But most guys don't have the same opportunity. That's number one. Number two, I forgot my train of thought. But the thing is, so you have, so a lot of people don't understand that a lot of these guys, they don't have the ability to. I forgot what I was about to say. It was a good point.
But look, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. But my whole thing is, I'm gonna talk about you for a second, right? Mm-hmm. You would say, and of course, I never thought of you this way, but you would say, "Yo, I'm a nerd. Like I like tech. I'm into technology. I'm in a computer." But I'll be like, "You're not a nerd. Like you're probably a nerd by quote unquote how you're perceived smart wise and things like that. The glasses doesn't help. You get what I'm saying?
But I like nerdy things.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I remember back when we was young. Like I said, you talked about building your own. You made your own game and stuff like that. Yeah. That's a nerd thing to do.
I like nerdy games.
But you didn't have the nerd tendencies. Put it like this: if nobody really knew you, from my perspective, you didn't sit at the Yu-Gi-Oh table.
No.
You didn't sit at the action figure table.
No.
You didn't. You went to prom with someone and things like that.
One of the proms.
Exactly. So you're sociable in some ways, right? You even play sports.
But I was definitely not like the popular kid.
You don't have to be the popular kid, is what I'm saying. My thing is, if you was a nerd, right? Yeah. Which you had all the attributes to being, where does it get murky to where it's like, oh, does it just take one woman to like you, one girl to like you, to kick you out of the incel group? Do you kind of get what I'm saying?
So that's where I was going.
Okay.
So there's two people that don't understand the plight. Men that get a lot of girls.
Okay.
And women. Women, I think, even if they never get into a relationship, they will always, let me not say that, they have friends. I remember there was one woman who checked the red pill guy. Because the red pill guy was saying like, oh, women are going to die alone. You're going to be lonely, this, that, third. And she was like, I feel like you're projecting right now. Because I might not get married. But guess what? I'm going to still have great relationships with my family. I'm still have a great relationship with my homegirls. And if I have kids, I'm going to have a great relationship with my kids. It's men that don't have great relationship with their family, don't have great relationship with their friends, and usually don't have great relationship with their kids. So if you don't get married or you divorce, you would die alone. Especially if you're not the top 10%. You're going to die alone. Because you don't have great relationship with your family. You don't have homeboys that are just around. Like homegirls, they do everything. They go to trips together. They do brunch. Right. They see each other almost weekly, usually, right? But guys don't do that. Guys usually, they find family and they invest all their time in that. And so I think for a lot of people, they don't understand. For somebody who don't got nobody,
that's crazy. Because that's
and usually all men are like that. Listen, unless they're married.
And listen, I'm gonna say this again. I'm speaking off of ignorance. That's the whole point of a podcast, is that I learned and stuff like that. I thought it started and ended with women. I thought it was incel. You're an incel because no one likes you. Now, of course, you said the whole thing of they are involuntarily celibate. I get that. Because no one wants them. But it goes deeper than that. Even with men that have families and have relationship, men have a tendency of isolating themselves.
Yeah. Even within.
Even this is, we're not even talking about incels no more. We just talk about men.
Man, period.
So imagine you isolating yourself as a man. People want to be around you. Hey, Chen, I'm calling you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm checking on you. I drove by. You ain't answering the door. This is with people who want to hang around you. You get what I'm saying?
You do that enough times, you start losing friends.
Exactly. But the thing about it is, I never saw it from how you just explained it to where I use you for example because you're no, because you're a co-host and you're the founder of the podcast. So I'm gonna use you.
Appreciate it.
You can take a sabbatical and say, I'm going to out into the cabin, into a small cabin just to be by myself.
Yeah.
But subconsciously, you know that you can always touch base with somebody.
Yeah.
So you're really never alone.
Yeah.
Even though physically you're alone. I don't know what it feels like to be alone.
Fully alone.
And to be fully alone means to be invisible. I think that's the root
of the problem
of being an incel. Is that I'm thinking, oh, girls just don't like you? Okay, you're an incel. You're celibate? We all celibate until a girl likes us. You know what I'm saying? But it goes back to, most of the time, dependent, they may not have a good relationship with their family. They may not have friends that they can count on. And they're completely isolated.
But I don't know, man.
Does it go deeper?
I mean, even the celibate part, because I feel like trivializing that. Like, we're not talking about being celibate for a couple months. Some of these people are 5, 10 years. Think of 10 years. Last time you was when you was 20? Now you 30? Or last time was 25? Now you 35? 35 without touching a woman. Why you got to Are you in prison?
But
think about it. You live in prison life, and you're free. That's different.
But something contributes to that, though.
What do you mean?
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'm very attractive. Thank you. Right? If I was 500 pounds and I didn't look presentable, no one would like me. But I have a circle of community. Y'all let me get 300 pounds, but y'all wasn't gonna let me get 400 pounds. You get what I'm saying? Like there's a certain line that I think with community that it's just a standard that has to be met. I understand the whole not touching a woman and things like that. Are they trying? And when I say are they trying, I mean because you don't have the other tools, like social tools. Because all of it, to even talk to women or even to approach whoever you're attracted to and things like that, there has to be some type of social norm, some social normality that you must have. You get what I'm saying? When I go talk to a woman, I don't go and say, I think you're pretty, let's have sex. Because that's not socially normal. You get what I'm saying? There's other things that have to happen internally that contributes to me being attractive to women and things like that. So when you say some of these people live with their mom or stay in the basement, there's a certain disconnect to the normality of just society of progressing as a man or progressing as an adult to where, oh, you're maybe socially awkward. You may not know how to talk. It's more than just being a nerd. It's more than just not being attractive. Like it's like there's a block there, and that's where I'm getting confused at, because I'm like, do these guys, and as crazy as it may sound, when you think of the guy that's in the basement, there's a GameStop a documentary about Wall Street bets and stuff like that like they put on Netflix. When they was quote unquote having the actors play as who be the ones that be on the computer, it was a fat white boy. And I'm like, is this the look that you think of when it comes to incel? That they out of shape, they in the basement. Whenever you say in your mama's basement, nobody think of a fit guy with abs and things like that, haircut correctly and things like that. It's usually some other amenities to them, even if it's physical conditions or even mental conditions that may contribute to them being labeled as an incel. Dude, you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know, it's like saying, you know, you have trouble moving around because you're 400 or 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, you need to start losing weight so you can move around better. But at 400, 500 pounds, it's a lot of work to just move.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. And instead of doing the work, you just indulge yourself further into what you have. And I think for the incel, their indulgement is like, if you is that it goes back to that whole hurt people, right?
Hurt people, okay.
Like, if I'm hurt and I feel like society gave up on me, I'm just gonna make sure everybody else hurts, or I'm gonna find a community that also feels the same way. And Wall Street Bets is kind of in the same category.
It's kind of murky a little bit.
Well, it's not murky to the point where they hate women and they hate, you know, men that get women, or they hate society. It's not like that. But their thing is like, it's weird to explain this, but Wall Street Bets, they try to lose money. Like, they would post up, hey, I tried to do options. I put in $2 million in options, and I lost $3 million. And they would show the red. Or I put all my money, all my life savings, 40K of life savings that, you know, I saved up for the last 10 years, 40K, and now I'm at $200. Like, they would put up pictures of that, and they would get this level of like, good job, man. Oh, you a real monkey. Oh, shout out to you. Like, this level of like self-hate but it's not love, but there's a camaraderie. That's the word? Camaraderie.
Okay, yeah.
This
A mean of being together.
Yeah. Of like, oh, I'm in a community. I don't feel lonely. And I think for incels, it's that times 100. Whereas like, oh yeah, a woman looked at me disgusting. I don't know what they write in these forums. But they probably say, they talk about it like I tried going on a date and the woman didn't show up today. That's why women are trash.
Oh, okay,
then,
so it's like,
then everybody's like, yeah, I've heard, yeah, man, but you ugly anyway, so of course you wasn't gonna get like. And these are things that they write to each other. Like it's things like
to basically reinforce their
But there's a level of community, and I think the going back to what we was talking about, how like being alone and being invincible, having somebody just say you look ugly, but I get it because I also look ugly, or yeah, of course you wasn't gonna get that woman. But I get it because I was also not gonna get that woman. Builds that camaraderie. It builds that community.
That's a weird war cry, boy. That is community is powerful, even if it's not positive or negative, man. Go ahead.
There was one of those atheists the other day that was like, you know what? There is something to be said about seeing people every day. I mean, not every day, every week, once a week. Just seeing people once a week. Maybe church was on to something. But if you think about it, church was definitely, especially in the black community, especially during days where we weren't allowed to really move as free as we could, church was a essential part to keeping that community strong.
Yeah.
Because you saw people every day, I mean, not every day, every week, who were in the community that you probably wouldn't see elsewhere. And I think just having a community could be very dangerous, such as incels, or even, you know, what was the
you talking about the atheists?
Neo-Nazis, alt-right.
Okay.
People in that category, where a lot of these people, they come in because they feel like they're disenfranchised or whatever. But having a community could be very dangerous, or it could be very beautiful, and people might disagree. But Black Lives Matter, I know black people don't like them.
Kanye out there.
White people don't like them.
Kanye selling his.
Kanye don't like them. Donald Trump don't like them. I get it. But there's a community of people within that, you know, that space where they're able to fight certain injustices that they felt they can't do by themselves, right? Or what's another one? I don't know. Black nerds. That's a rising community where we never seen that before. Where you have black people talk about anime and video games. Exactly. Like you never, because black nerds wasn't a thing. It was always, when you thought of nerds, you thought about the white kid with the glasses, maybe a little child. And that's a different culture, but you thought that. But now there's a community of black nerds where they're black people who are allowed to express their nerd space. So there's this power in community, especially when there's a common interest or a common experience.
Is it possible to not be an incel once you are one?
Yeah,
and I understand that a lot of them, and I send you the articles or like the clips personally for you. Some of them champion Jordan Peterson for helping them
to get out of that space.
Not to help them, but it's like self-help, dude. Like, you know how like self-help can be. This is where it's so important. I'm talking to y'all now, to where there's real life and then there's like internet life, and internet life is not real life.
Real life, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna use relationships, right? Be careful on adopting a internet standard.
Internet doctrine.
Exactly. If I was to go by internet doctrine on how to view women and the standards that I should have for women, I would say women are useless. I would say women suck. But every woman that I encountered in real life
has not even
been outstanding.
And that's a powerful message. I don't know, y'all catch that.
And smart.
It's like, oh, women only want to use you for your money.
I never met a real person. I never met a woman like that in my real life interactions.
Most of the women I know do better than the niggas. Most of the women I know do better than the men they are in a relationship with. In my age group, in our age group, around the older ones, usually the man is doing better. But in our age group, so it's like when men start talking, and that's why I have a hard time really understanding their viewpoint, because I'm like,
who's there? The
red pill people.
Okay.
It's like when they start talking about like, oh, women want a man that's making this much or that much or this much. I'm like, I know some women who are making that much, and they dealing with a man who's not making as much. Or I know a woman who's who actually is financing the man's life, but there's love there, there's genuine care there, and there's a level of respect there. So when people always talk about, oh, women want this and women want that, or even that man needs to be this to be a man of the house, I'm like, no, not really. If there's a respect level, if there's a level of respect for themselves, usually that transfer over into the relationship.
And that's where I was going with this. To finish my example, to get to my bigger point, be careful what you adopt on the internet and what you see, and try to bring that to your real life. And the reason why I say that is I am not a fan of self-help, of hustle culture. I like listening to it.
Well, those are two different things.
Well, let's go with self-help then, and then I go to hustle. I go to hustle culture. I'm not a fan of self-help motivation.
Okay.
I love hearing ET clips. I would never pay for an ET conference.
Wow.
I never pay for an ET conference. Because with me, I say, I don't need motivation. I need steps.
Disciplines.
I need, what did you do exactly? You get what I'm saying? But that's for me. And what I would do is, or what people would do, not me because I don't be on the internet, but what people would do is they would take what's to them and brought it out on the internet. Self-help is not good. This goes back to my Jordan Peterson and Incel connection. The Incels, the ones that champion Jordan Peterson, they like him because he's self-help in some fashions. And he made a clip that went viral called Make Your Bed Every Day. And Incels championed that video to help them improve their lives and to basically transform their lives and transition out of being an incel, because that self-help helped their real life. For my situation, I'm not in a dire situation where I'm isolated and I feel alone and I feel neglected and I feel forgotten and like I don't feel like I'm franchised anywhere. So that can fall on deaf ears for me about those simple motivational clips, even from Jordan Peterson and from ET and things like that. But for someone who feels that way, that is the thing that they say changed my life. Because they say, number one, Jordan Peterson is very big on accountability, apparently. And he said, number one, you are in this position because you put yourself in this position. So it's not so much that the world is against you. Yes, the world may be against you, but you put yourself in this situation. And that's real to them. It's not real to me because I have no need for it. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I say, is it possible for them to transition out of being that? That's why I always thought I thought at first it was much simpler than just a girl, but or just being attracted to someone. But I don't know what that does to the mind or to the mental to not be attractive. Nobody wants me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I've said no to women throughout my years of living.
Yeah.
Women that I felt like didn't deserve to ask me to be with them. You get what I'm saying? I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? One comes to mind, but that just didn't deserve to be with me. But that even saying no is a privilege. I don't know what it's like to have nobody. I know what it's like not to get the girl I really, 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 really want. You get what I'm saying? But I don't know what it's like to have no options for years. And I'm sure there's a period where you try, but you only try based on what you know. You get what I'm saying? Like you don't really know what's normal. You only know what's normal for you. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like even when you dress, you don't even know how to dress correctly, quote unquote, for a date. You only know your societal way of how you dress and how you go about it. So that's why I'm like, this is very interesting.
Yeah, I think my thing, right, is that it's a weird thing because, like, for example, Kevin Samuels, I say it all the time. I'm not really a fan of him when he talks to women, but I'm a big fan of him when he talks to men. This might be sexist, but I'm like, men should talk to men, women should talk to women. Like, I'm not into like women telling men how to be men. And men telling women how to be women. It's just weird. It's like, you don't really live their lives. Like, how you going? So that's just my preference. But a lot of these like toxic men have great advice for men. And I think that's the thing. A lot of other people are not giving that advice to men. And if they are, it's like, maybe it's coming from a place where, oh, you don't even like being a man. For example, if you're like a male feminist, which is, always interesting, a lot of men might not want to hear from you because they think, oh, you're not even on our side. Whereas for like a Jordan Peterson or Kevin Samuels or somebody else, a lot of these red pill or, what people would deem toxic men, when they come with advice, they're like, oh, you're on our side. So so we're more willing to hear what you have to say, even though it might be the same or similar messaging.
In that instance, the messenger matters.
Yeah, but the only issue is that a lot of that messaging comes with the other side, where you have a lot of these people talking about, oh, I'm a high value male, or I'm a 1%. It's like, bro, no, you're not. You're not. You're just not. Like, you can't do what a Diddy is doing.
Shout out to Diddy.
When he's like, oh, I'm not cheating. I have options. No, you don't. You're cheating. You're cheating, my guy. So it's like a lot of these people take up these messaging that is not, I would say, productive for male-woman relationship, but it's productive for being a man. And so that's the I guess that's the double-edged sword. It's like,
okay,
yes, it's good. It's great for if you want to be more of a responsible adult. A lot of these men have a lot of good advice. Make your bed. Be responsible. Make sure you're carrying your own weight. Nobody should have to carry your own weight. If you're living with your mom at 35, you're not carrying your own weight in society. Make sure you're focused on your career. Make sure you're grooming yourself. I remember Kevin Samuels saying, you should not have one of those what's it called? What do they call those things? A loofah? I don't know.
Oh, talk about like the little soft
scrub joints. You shouldn't have a loofah more than a week. If you have it for a month, 2 months, 3 weeks, 3 months, 6 months,
you're dirty.
It's dirty. That thing is nasty. Bro, I didn't know that. I used to have mine for a month or two. When I heard that, I was like, you right. Why am I threw that joint away.
That thing costs $1.
Bro, that's $4 a month. You just get a little bundle. You have that for a whole year. You good. So I had to switch up my grooming routine when I heard that. How you present yourself. Being assertive. Learn how to. These are things that a lot of these men were saying that no other, group of people were saying, right?
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of these guys who are shy, on the internet, they know how to type. But when you talk to them, they don't know how to look you in the eye. They always talking like this. They don't know, they're like, hey, yeah, I mean. So the persona on the internet is way different from how they act in real life, right? I'm talking about incels. But a lot of these Jordan Petersons, a lot of these show like, yo, lift up your eyes when you're talking to somebody. Talk with some type of bass in your voice. Know yourself. Make your bed. Why is your bed messy? Like, you're an adult. You're not a child. Make your bed. I think this messaging is helping a lot of people, but it comes with, these feminists, they take over the world. You got to do something about it. It's like, hey, you know what? yeah, I do need to do something about it. These girls are dumb. These girls are stupid. And it's like, come on, bro.
And now you adopted a message that's not even. And that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and you listen to it because the other message helps your life.
Yeah, and then the dangers of, and like I said, I do agree partially to your point of like, women. I don't believe a man should be telling a woman like how to be a woman and things like that, because more times than not, the man go give you tips on how to be attracted to men. Like, you need some type of motivation or details that just purposely and solely serves the woman.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Imagine me being a motivational speaker and I'm giving advice to women, and the first thing I say is, how come you don't make his plate? That has nothing to do with women. That has nothing to do with being a woman. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I can only talk about the improvement of how to be a woman towards man because I'm a man. I'm not a woman. I don't know what women go through every day.
Yeah.
I'm not one. So that's why I'm like, I get 100% of what you mean by that. This was an interesting conversation. Actually, I got one more thing. Men have proven themselves to be violent. Right? We're violent.
Okay.
We're strong.
That's facts.
It wasn't women that was going to war. We was going to war.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was like I said, Twitter is a newspaper for me. So a woman, 21-year-old woman, she was playing basketball against this guy. She beats him. He leaves the court, comes back, shoot the girl to death, right? Kills her, right? Because he lost, right? Even, you just shocked by that? That's crazy. But this is stories that you can hear about men every day. This is not even towards men on women crime, men on men crime. There was a police officer in Texas, in San Antonio, walks up on a teenage car, and he just opens the door and say, "Get out." The teenager said, "For what?" The teenager puts the car in reverse to try to leave. The guy pulls out a gun, opened fires on him. Like I said, men is just
violent.
Ego.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you're an incel or not, you have an ego. Is there a possible because I think with any community, especially with men, something that has to do with ego. And I'm only saying this towards incels because the root of it is, you're involuntarily celibate. No woman wants you. Mm-hmm. When it comes to ego in that group, is there a potential threat or danger to not only themselves, but to community, to anyone who's not part of that community and things like that? I read somewhere that now incels are starting to pick up and stuff like that. Now there's a name and things are starting to pick up, and they said there's a threat level and things like that. And I'm just like, yes, it's just one of those instances where we're just picking on them because they're incels, you get what I'm saying? Or is there a threat, not because they're incels, but because they're men? And you get what I'm saying? And when the ego is attacked, men do violent things.
That's fair.
So that's why I'm like, I think it's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
Not the fact that they are community and they find some type of thing, but it's like, if you involuntarily celibate based on the label that you gave yourself, that's a constant attack on your ego. And men who egos get attacked, we don't react good. Dude, you get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, is that dangerous? Because of course there's other groups and there's other things we go through that's not a direct attack on our ego. But this, based on what it means to be a man, what is viewed to be a man, you're isolated, it's like it's a direct attack on the ego.
I'm going to give this example of what I think this group is capable of, right? If you have somebody who doesn't have any control, which I feel like this group is, like they're not disciplined, you don't have like a level of like self-worth, and there's like, so there's no shame. That's number two, right? One, they have no control or they have no discipline. That's number one. Number two, there's no control. and you suck at this thing called life, which is a game. If let's say you were good at Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I suck at Call of Duty. We play a game. If I have no discipline, I have no shame, I get angry like easily. That's the lack of discipline. I have no shame. If I start losing, what do you think I'm gonna do?
You might hurt me.
I might not hurt you. Come on now. I'm not gonna hurt you.
You might hurt me.
I'm not gonna hurt you. But what I might do is go to the video game and turn it off. And so a lot of these people, I think, have the capacity to say, "Oh, I suck at this game, but nobody gets to play." What does that mean? If I suck at life,
that means there will be some casualties.
This guy.
That's too tough. I'm sorry. This was a serious moment. I'm done.
No, it's all good. But not what I was going to say is that there's a level of like we need to end society. That's why the Joker, for a lot of people, was a scary movie because they thought it was going to, raise up the incels. Because what the Joker did was create chaos, was end society. And if you think about it, like you said, men don't like laws. That's why
we don't like losing.
We don't like losing. We don't like laws. That's why people love Batman. People love Batman, but Batman is he's the cool side of being a nerd. Both nerds, quote unquote, but he's the cool side. You ever hear Batman and Joker ever say, Joker would say, "Me and you were the same." Batman gets girls.
Batman's a billionaire.
Batman's a billionaire. Batman's usually good looking. And he gets to do whatever. He gets cool gadgets. He gets to fight. He's a cool guy. But he's the guy that gets to be behind, tread the line. He could be a villain and a good guy. Yeah, he doesn't kill people, but he does beat them up without due process. He goes, he's not a stand-up citizen. But that's the thing. Like, we admire those type of people. We admire I'm not trying to put anybody out there, but the Mike Tysons who's like, beats up people for talking crazy, or the drug dealer, we admire those people, but they're the cool guys. But then there's the Joker, where it's like, oh, that man is messed up. We don't like him. He's a villain, because he doesn't get the girls. He's not good looking.
When you think of the Joker movie, remember when he was minding his business on the train?
Yeah, and then he got picked on.
And then he got picked on.
And this is what quote unquote, a lot of incels are supposed to be experiencing on a day-to-day basis. They're the guys that get picked on. They're the guys that nobody wants. They're the guys that they go home to a one-bedroom apartment and nobody's there to greet them, or they live with a mom who's like still babying them, and they hate their life. They hate their life. So if I hate my life, everybody gets to hate their life. And so I think that's the scary part.
That's the scary part right there, because we know how far men can go when it comes to that. So in a way, as a society, did we fail them?
Yeah, we failed a lot of people. I feel like black people.
I ain't gonna hold you. Black people come first. I'm sorry. Y'all got a lot.
Sorry, incels.
But
slavery. Yeah.
But y'all third though.
I think black women.
Black women's too.
No, black women is probably. I don't know. It's a question. We need some black women to discuss it. Who's first? Black man or black woman? No, I'm joking. Don't come for me.
No.
Black woman.
No, I was saying black people first, black women second.
Black people first. I'll put black women and black people.
Okay.
Black people. Oh, Native Americans got to go in there too.
Okay, Native Americans first. Black people.
Yeah. Cause they massacred the Native Americans.
That's what I'm saying.
Sad.
That's crazy. Native Americans first.
You don't even see any.
Black people. Well, we live in Baltimore.
They lived in Baltimore.
No.
They did?
No, I'm just saying, we're not in the.
I know.
I
but they used to live in Baltimore.
I know.
Hey, we don't even see them. This is their land.
That's crazy.
I see white people all the time.
Listen, somewhere in the totem pole, there's black women, there's gay people, there's
damn.
there's incels.
Yeah.
And groups like this form whenever they feel like their voice is not heard.
Yeah.
We just need to hear
Their voices more.
we need to hear their voices more, and we need to know who failed to hear your voices. Like it just comes down because I personally never heard of the term. I'm sure I met a lot of them, but
That's wild.
But
Question:
what's up?
Is it necessary to have people who are against that voice? So, like for incels, they said Joy Peterson is their voice. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people against Joy Peterson.
Yeah.
But then again, for black people, I'm not gonna go through the voices for black people.
Too many.
But there's a lot of people against those voices. Mm-hmm. For gay people, same thing. Mm-hmm. We had somebody accuse us for pushing the gay agenda.
I don't know who this person is, but I feel you.
Yeah, you know.
No, I don't know the person personally.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like, I don't listen to the internet, so.
Yeah, they say we was pushing the gay agenda. I'm like, bro, I didn't even know there was an agenda being passed out. Like, I ain't see the agenda. Mm-hmm. So we doing it unknowingly. But there's a lot of people. We're not the voice for gay people. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't know enough.
I don't know. Probably
but there are people.
2%. Yeah.
There are people who are voices for gay people. But there's a lot of people against those voices. So my thing is, one, is that necessary? Because then it's like, if those voices are not challenged, how do we know if they're really like doing the right thing or not?
It really depends who the enemy is. And when I say the enemy to that said voice. Mm-hmm. So, like, for example, we can say black people, we know who the enemy to that said voice is. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Is that person also the enemy to gay voices?
Sometimes no.
Or is that group? Sometimes no. Majority times, depending what state you live in, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Church and state go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? So it could be. So you already got the same enemy over the same cause. I don't think that enemy is the same enemy to incels, though. You get what I'm saying?
Because incels are usually categorized as white males.
Exactly. So that leads to
but they're usually poor or not doing.
That goes to my other point. Those type of poor states and poor countries, or not poor countries, poor states rather, where you don't see a black person in sight. So then they become an enemy too.
Black people.
So it's like we all against. It's like it's just a.
But then you got black women who are enemy against incels. Because it's like, oh nah, you don't like us at all. You don't like women or black people.
So it's like it's hard to identify the enemy. That's why it's not solved, because everybody putting a different mask on. But I think as a society,
or a different jersey. Yeah.
As a society, these groups come about. I don't know about Red Pill. Red Pill is weird. But these groups.
Yeah, that's weird.
Somebody said it's so funny. They said, I never met a group that just want acceptance from men. Like men who wants acceptance from men. It's just weird. But these groups come from being, at some point, disadvantaged. And stuff like that. That's why they formed. Guess what? An incel probably was bullied unfairly.
Yeah.
An incel probably was picked on unfairly.
Yeah.
However they ended up where they are, there probably was an unfair event or like an unfair thing that happened to them in their life that put them in that position. And that's why they feel like Jordan Peterson is a hero, because Jordan Peterson at one point said, hey, no one's going to save you. You got to do it yourself. You can't blame nobody for where you are. And many times than not, in that community, it's so easy to just say nobody wants this. They, them, everybody. It's their fault why we like this. But it takes a revelation, I guess, that you never heard, that no, you're like this because you're like this. You don't make up your bed every morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you look at your bed. Not me.
Exactly. And that what happens is many times than not, that guy who lost, and like I said, prayers to that family, that guy lost a game of basketball to a girl and wanted to kill her and killed her. You get what I'm saying?
That's wild.
Not only affecting her, but her family. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, somewhere, even though you may be unheard and neglected, there's some accountability that comes with where you are in life. And that's where incels, we're not saying you, because you're an incel, you're dangerous. It's because if you have the mindset of lacking accountability, life sucks for me, so it's going to suck for everybody. That's a lack of accountability.
Yeah.
People will suffer.
Yeah.
And that goes for any group. Red pill community, they are making their rounds on Twitter, on YouTube every day, telling you why women ain't this, why women ain't smart, why women don't, why women is the problem with women. That's why I don't do this. I don't do all this. They making their rounds. Lack of accountability. You get what I'm saying?
Why you doing those type of
Exactly. So all these people, all these groups that feel like they're not heard, and if that group lacks accountability, they all become dangerous.
Yeah. Because
there's always some way to put the blame.
Yo, your focus is always on the enemy.
Even if you deserve it or not.
Yeah.
But will you be free to talk to Incel?
Yeah.
Let's hope we
I love my racists.
What? Where that come from?
Some incels are racist.
Well,
They say the N-word a lot.
I'm gonna try to find me a black one. If there
is he a full incel though? Like, is he a full incel? Like, I feel like you gotta be a white male. Cause if you're a black incel, you got racism to deal with. So that's probably why you're in the position.
Okay, we gonna see. I'm gonna see what connects I got. Okay, but anything else you want to share, Mo?
Nah, that was good. I was a little worried because incel topics always.
You gotta trust me. You gotta trust me.
Yeah, you're right.
You gotta trust me. Y'all be good, man. Blessings.